Well, we'll get to that in a second, Jason. That is certainly an interesting tidbit. But let's talk about Siaki Ika first, because the early returns on the Browns' 2023 draft pick have not been great. He did not suit up in more than 5 games last year. He was active for 4 games, was essentially relegated to the practice squad. And so far through preseason, Tyvis, it hasn't looked great. It hasn't looked great. What have you seen from Siaki Ika on tape? And is there any hope for the Browns' 2023 fourth-round draft?
So when they got Siaki Ika, they thought he was one of those guys that was essentially – you got to remember when they drafted him. It was the year coming off of the worst defensive tackle run stoppage era. And at that time, they were in the panic mode to find answers to it. And they figured that they would address it in a multitude of ways. We're going to draft Dalvin Tomlinson, who was at that time a really good run stopper, but we're going to get another guy that we want to rotate in there, because you just can't have one guy. You got to have a bunch of guys that you can rotate at that defensive tackle spot to stop the run. And they thought Siaki Ika would be perfect. This is a guy that's big. He's physical. He at worst, even if he just fell down, he would create a pile and clog his lane. And up until today, we haven't really got a chance to see him out there. You know, this is a guy that was carried on the 53, but I don't even remember how many games he was actually active. He was inactive for
active for 4 games last year.
Okay, so he was inactive for majority of the season. And seeing the preseason when he's out there, you don't even really notice him. You know, and you would think a guy that's big, that was that highly thought of, would at least create some TFLs, get some knockbacks or something like that, and you don't see any of that. So the one thing is, will he make the roster? I don't know, because I think that they went very heavy on veterans, re-signing veterans, and I kind of think that they had their mind kind of made up on the guys that they already know. Siaki Ika is one of those guys that, and this is the problem when you're a young guy. You're a young guy. This is the question that they're going to ask themselves. If we cut you, can we bring you back on practice squad, or will somebody claim you? And can you sit there and say, if they cut Siaki Ika, somebody else is going to pick him up?
I think someone will pick him up.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't.
Okay.
He hasn't shown me a lot.
He's shown nothing.
Exactly. So, like, why would you? And the thing is, you can be, if he's available, or, okay, if somebody pick him up, are you okay with losing him?
I think that's the question.
Okay.
I do.
Are you okay with losing him is the question as well. But I don't think nobody would pick him up. If they do pick him up, it's just because he's young, and they want more depth there. But outside of that, I think that he can be brought back on practice squad. So I don't think he'll make the initial 53.
I don't think he's making the initial 53.
There's 0% chance he's making the 53.
No,
I'm telling you, there's 0.
Well,
then move on.
I was answering the question.
Well, no, but like Andrew Berry has had a hard time parting ways with his own draft.
He's gotten better.
Early, he's gotten better.
I'm about to say he ripped that Band-Aid off like 2 years ago.
But that was a 6th or 7th round pick after 2 years. Even Anthony Schwartz got into his 3rd season. This would be the 2nd season for Siaki.
Who was his first cut? The safety.
I don't remember.
Richie? No.
LeCount.
Yeah.
Who was a 6th round pick in his 3rd year. He's never cut bait with somebody in their 2nd year. And I do think Ika is going to end up being the first person who he does say, hey, we tried. We are loaded at this position anyway. Thank you, but best of luck in the future of your career.
If he get cut and nobody claim, they'll bring him back on P Squad.
Yeah. You go first.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I get why they liked him. If you go back and watch the film of the Eagles' defensive line when Schwartz was there, Ika fits the mold, body type, body style-wise, of what the Eagles were running in the interior of the defensive line. But he's shown nothing. So, no, he's not going to make the team. I thought because their linemen are in such demand, I thought that someone may take a look at him. He went to a pretty good school and was highly thought of coming out of college. He's the top 100 pick, 3rd round pick. So it's someone else to say, well, we can figure it out. But if they lose him, I don't think it's a devastating loss. If he's not picked up, I agree with you. I think he's back on practice squad, and you continue to try and work and try and get something out of him. But he's shown nothing to this point.
You mentioned that he had the body type that a Jim Schwartz liked in Philadelphia. The difference between what Ika had from a physical and athletic standpoint for some of those other guys was actual athletic ability. And I'm being serious here. You've heard of the relative athletic score they give out to every NFL draft prospect who comes out, right, Tyvis? I'm sure you had one when you came out.
I have no
the
idea.
RAS score.
I never checked it. It should have been. It should have been perfect.
Siaki Ika's RAS score was a 2.75 out of 10 coming out. Since 1987.
Sheesh.
Since 1987, the NFL Combine has graded 1,620 defensive tackles on their RAS scale. Siaki Ika's 2.75 came in at 1,376. Seriously, I'm not making that up. It was one of the worst relative athletic testing scores they've ever had.
I mean,
when you're that big, Tyvis, it's one thing to be big, right? And in college, when you're just merely bigger and stronger than everybody, you can get away and create plays just by pure size. But in the NFL, when everyone is at that same caliber, your athletic ability is what differentiates okay from good, good from great, okay from bad. And it appears, and it's still a small sample size. I'm not saying he can never turn it around. He obviously has potential in some sense. But when you know his athletic profile and you watch the tape, and Anthony, I know you showed a play earlier. You can show all those plays I sent. He just doesn't move people whatsoever. And more often than not, he's getting pushed back off the ball. And when you weigh 340 pounds like he does, you can't be a guy that's getting moved off the ball. That's a non-negotiable from that three technique position.
I agree with that. I mean, I think he did. I think the Browns have done a lot to try to help him out. You know, they probably came in knowing that maybe he wasn't the most athletic guy. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. We got some of the best pass rushers. We got some good veterans. You know, you spend a year with these guys, they'll help him develop his game. After a year, when you don't see the development, then they said in the offseason, you're just too big. You need to lose some weight. And I think he lost weight this offseason. He spent this whole offseason trying to lose weight, and he came back healthier, which they thought, all right, that would help his movement. If he's lost weight, that means his body be more quick twitch and things like that. He's been with these veterans. He's worked on pass rush moves and stuff. He knows how to be effective. And if you've done all of those things and it's still not there, and you can turn the tape on and still not see it, it's just like, maybe this ain't maybe you need another voice. That's the best thing for you. Maybe Jim Schwartz and the D-line coach just can't get through to you, so you got to go somewhere else that maybe they can. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like,
it happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. You go somewhere else and you listen to a different coach and they explain it differently, it just clicked for you. So maybe for him, maybe he don't need to make this 53-man roster. Maybe he needs to go somewhere else to see another D-line coach that maybe can resonate something and figure out how he can be effective in the NFL.
When I went back and watched the Minnesota all 22, just to confirm what my eyes said in that initial test. And you always want to give a guy the benefit of the doubt. Like, this is nothing personal against anyone, but you got to let the tape play out. You got to get what your eye test sees and see if it matches.
The tape don't lie.
And it's tough tape, man. Like I said, he gets no push.
Let me see it again.
His leverage, and just play those three plays. You can play them all three back to back to back.
1 second.
If Social News Desk will cooperate, which would be a blessing, because we know it never works. Let's see if it works this time. But, like, he's 340 pounds here, Tyvis, going against third-string offensive guards and tackles. He falls to his knees on every third play. That's him, yeah. That's one play. No push. And let's go to the next one. There's more than just these three examples. Here he's getting blown back off the line. There he is, 62, Tyvis, completely out of running a play right into essentially where his hole is supposed to be. And then there's one more if you want to throw it up at two. There's another one. These are three specific plays. The ones that we're not showing are a lot of the same, Tyvis. It's hard to find a positive right now on tape from Siaki Ika. Doesn't mean he'll never get there. Doesn't mean he'll never be a contributor or a player in an NFL team and an NFL roster at some point in his career. But right now, when you look at the depth of the Cleveland Browns defensive tackle room, tell me who he's making it over. They're not keeping 7 defensive tackles. They're probably only keeping 5. And is he making it over Dalvin Tomlinson? No. Shelby Harris? No. Mo Hurst? No. Quentin Jefferson?
No.
Mike Hall?
No.
That's your 5 right there. And if you want to keep Javon Briggs, the guy they drafted in the 7th round out of Cincinnati, who has shown more on tape through 2 preseason games than Ika has.
That's why.
That's 6.
So right there is why they're okay with the Ika not being.
I just don't know where he fits in.
If they cut both of them, their chances are at least one of them would be back.
I just don't know where he fits on this roster, unfortunately.
I hate to say it. I hate to be the messenger, but
no, you're right.
What it is.
And remember when they drafted him and Jim Schwartz said we're going to turn a dump truck into a Lambo?
Did he say that?
Yeah. He's turned into a motorized scooter.
Can't be 100% on all things.
No, they don't hit them all.
And Jim Schwartz has as good a track record as anyone at developing defensive tackles. Like
Yeah,
everywhere he's gone.
He simplifies it
Yeah,
for
and
you.
if it, yeah, I'm not saying it can't work elsewhere, but if it hasn't worked here, it's hard to picture a better fit than a defensive line room situation coaching staff than with the Browns right now. So we hope Siaki Ika has a big game against Seattle. It would certainly make the Browns' decision a lot more difficult if he puts some good plays on tape against the Seahawks.